Welcome back. Today, class, we will be discussing the rest of this book that I finished this week. Living a Feminist Life, yes. So, I think what I got out of this book the most was a kind of thing to cite for me saying that I don't want to cite men. Or just generally white men, because I don't respect their ideas. More that I don't respect the fact that their ideas are considered the foundation and the starting point, because there's all these men that I really hate in academia. Bruno Latour on my shit list. That other guy, Foucault, go to hell. Terrible. I don't like their ideas, they don't resonate with me, but I'm just expected to know about them and to be able to tell you why I don't like them. Meanwhile, why can I spend that time actually, using the ideas of the people I do like and respect? And who would respect me in my research? Unfortunately, Umberto Eco was on that list for a while, and then I read The Name of the Rose, and then I was like, wait, maybe he should be taken off that list. But maybe he should still be on it. I don't respect those men because they just, like when I say they wouldn't respect me, I mean they would see me and they would see the way I look and they would see my life, and they would realize that they would never respect my ideas and my research because I'm just a silly little girl who likes to read books about dragons. And they're like big white men who, talk about metaphysics, and were somehow able to make a career off of it, which is impossible to do today. And Sarah Ahmed talks about that, and she even came up with a name for it, which is even better, because when you have a name for it in academia, they're like check mark, you can cite that, and that is disciplinary fatalism. What is it? The assumption that we can only reproduce the lines that are before us. And that is definitely a big part of what feminist bibliography is. It's rejecting the disciplinary fatalism. And now I can say, well, this respected scholar said I didn't have to cite men, so I'm not going to. And then what I also thought I would do today, a little fun, is at the end she talks about constructing your feminist killjoy survival kit. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about what would be in mine. First of all, we have books. Obviously, this is the number one thing. I would say that mine are anything by Ursula K. Le Guin, particularly though The Tombs of Atuan, which I credit with like what made me understand what feminism is, as Ahmed describes in this book, saying, what was the thing that made you understand? It was The Tombs of Atuan by Ursula K. Le Guin. Voices and The Telling, I think particularly those three books being my favorites. And I would say The Hero and the Crown and The Blue Sword by Robin McKinley, and also Deerskin by Robin McKinley. Tamora Pierce, specifically The Protector of the Small series and The Tricksters duology. And for like more modern authors and more recently published, Christian Cashore, Winterkeep, and Bitter Blue. The books that Sarah Ahmed lists here, I'm gonna be real with you, like Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. I feel bad for saying this because I know my supervisor works on Virginia Woolf books, but I would rather eat concrete with a spoon than read a book by Virginia Woolf. That's just me. Anyways, feminist things in my toolkit, I think knitting would be one. I'm not going to explain to you how textile arts are feminist, but they are. Tools. This made me think about how I use fashion as a tool, because I like to play with people's perceptions of me. I never want to be what they expect. And there's this idea of a woman in academia looking, I'm just gonna say it, ugly. I'm just gonna say it, when you look at people like Donna Haraway and people like Sarah Ahmed, they reject the patriarchal feminist beauty standards, but it also means they just dress really bad. And I like to dress well, and I'm still a feminist. Which moves on to one of the other things she lists, which is humor, which I find to be very ironic considering she wrote one of the densest, humorless books I've ever read in my life. But hey, we all can't be comedians. That's why some of us are academics. Another thing in my toolkit, I think she says life. And then she talks about her dogs, including a horse. And I hate horses, but she did have a dog named Poppy. I too have a dog named Poppy. And Sadie. I actually think that dogs are an essential part of feminist anything. And I think that it's reflected in the books I want to study because a lot of them have dogs and animals in general as characters and not just as sidekicks, as characters with agency by magical means or otherwise, but animals are a very strong focus throughout that. I also have kind of delved a little bit deeper into the bibliography this week. I haven't watched the lecture I'm going to watch yet. I'm about to go do that actually, but I wanted to talk about the book I'm reading for fun. This gigantic The Dragon Riders of Pern. Now this one has been on my list for a very long time because it's the natural progression, especially since Tamora Pierce credits this book with like a lot of her inspiration for telling feminist fantasy stories. We were kind of off to a slow start, I'm not gonna lie, but like I'm getting into it. There are 24 books in this series, and I kind of think it's funny where it says the world's most beloved science fiction series on the back. Nobody knows, like, people do, but like if you went up to someone my age and was like, what's the most beloved science fiction series, they wouldn't be like The Dragon Riders of Pern by McCaffrey. What I like about this book so far is it's definitely, we're getting the willfulness hardcore. We're also getting dragons, but in some versions, like of the covers and stuff, they are like pterodactyl dragons, because that's kind of implied that they're like dinosaur dragons, and I love that. That is so much fun. Dinosaur pterodactyl dragons, it's giving the Land Before Time. I would also like to make a bibliographic analysis of this book. Like, you've all been waiting for it. We're gonna do some bibliography. This cover here is the omnibus edition, by the way. This is not the entire book. Sorry, I should have started with that. This is the first 3 books. I love a good omnibus edition, but this dragon looks very, and this whole cover looks very similar to the covers of the Temur series by Naomi Novik, which is a more recent series that I have read. And I was like, oh, it signals to people who like that series that they would like this one. And I wonder if it's published by the same person, further research, or the same publishing company. But also I think there's more than just a superficial similarity between the two. They're both about dragons, but they both have really similar dragon riding mechanics, basically, of like a bond between a single dragon and a single person, and also there being specific dragons that only women can ride. So that's interesting. I will let you know more about how I plan to pursue the Dragon Riders of Pern, because I am someone who is a completionist. So there is a good chance that I will read all 24 books. Anyways, thank you for watching. Bye.